Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today's kind of a throwaway episode. I'll be analyzing the question of whether Carl Weathers is acting the character of Greef Karga as good as he could be. I've already addressed that in other videos, but today I'm learning if I can make videos on my phone or not. So I chose something I'd already addressed and decided just to go into it a little bit deeper. Why am I addressing this question? Well, I keep seeing it referenced in other videos kind of as a throwaway line that, man, they expected better of Carl Weathers, that this Greef Karga character is maybe the only poorly acted character in the lot, but, you know, they hope he'll get better over time. And that is an entirely superficial look at the character. Watch how Greef Karga interacts. When he is interacting with his with the bounty hunters in his guild, you can tell he's going off the script. You can tell he's putting up a facade. The character is acting, and the character of Greef Karga is a pretty poor actor, which is unusual because he's supposed to be this sort of mid-management or high-level management character for a guild. So why does he play the role so poorly? Well, the setup for the show appears to be that this guild only recently formed after the fall of the Empire. So it's only been around for a couple of years, and Greef Karga is a manager for an out-of-the-way world pretty far from the core. So they're not getting the best bounty hunters, and they're not getting the best bounties. So it would make sense that this Greef Karga character, he's fairly new to the role, and he's still kind of awkward in it. And I think that it's brilliant that Carl Weathers portrays him that way. Now, anytime when the Greef Karga character is shocked, when he's under fire, when he's not acting according to script, he's just a normal guy. His reactions are very real, very human. Take, for instance, the difference between the scene where he picks up and looks at Baby Yoda and calls him this adorable little wrinkly creature or something to that effect. You can tell that Greef Karga's acting is very poor. He's trying to convince the Mando and Cara and Queel, poor Queel, that he understands their attachment to Baby Yoda, and he sympathizes with them. Now compare that to how he acted when he was actually sympathizing with Baby Yoda. After he shoots the two bounty hunters and assures them that he's on their side. When he assures Mando that it would be within the bounty hunter's code for him to shoot him. That is Carl Weathers acting, and that is Carl Weathers acting so well that you don't even question it. Your brain just glosses right over his acting and you get on to the scene. And that, I think, shows the brilliance of Carl Weathers acting. He knows this character. He has completely internalized who Greef Karga is. And he shows that Greef Karga is not a good actor. However, Carl Weathers is. You don't even notice when Carl Weathers is acting because he's a very good actor. You do notice when Greef Karga is acting because he's just not a very good actor. So the actor is an excellent actor, the character is a lousy actor, and I believe it takes a lot of skill to portray that. Kind of on a side note, all of the other reviewers I've seen have assumed that Greef Karga shot the other two bounty hunters dead. But if you will notice, in a very action-packed episode where every second counts, an episode that does not add padding, it takes several seconds to show that Greef Karga walks up to the other bounty hunters and kicks the guns out of their hands. Now, he might have been assuming that they didn't die instantly, but I think in a show where every point has meaning, that is to show that he stunned them, not killed them. That his compassion for Mando didn't suddenly make him lose compassion for all of his other bounty hunters. So I think that was to show that the other two bounty hunters are not dead. He just needed them stunned for the very short amount of time that they would have to go in and fool the client. And what if they wake up before they're done? Well, they're not going to have very long at all to confuse the client and get out of there. So it's kind of a moot point. By the time they wake up, the Mando will either be off the planet or dead. So, yes, I do not believe that Greef Karga is so heartless that he would kill two of his bounty hunters just to protect one without much more motivation than he's shown in this scene. I'm pretty sure he just stunned them, as displayed by the fact that he thought it was necessary, and the show thought it was necessary to show us he thought it was necessary to kick their weapons out of their hands while they were down on the ground. So anyway, that's my point. Carl Weathers is an excellent actor who has already completely mastered the character Greef Karga. And while Greef Karga is not a good actor, he is a pretty decent person and does not just go around shooting his bounty hunters because he plays favorites. All right, what do you think of this episode? Specifically, I would love some feedback on the sound quality. I'm just sitting here recording on my phone. Hear that? Speaking of sound quality, if you can hear that, that is the most adorable golden retriever in the world, gnawing on her bone, hoping it'll get my attention. And if I can get permission from her owner, I will star her in some future phone videos. But until I get permission to put her face on the internet, I'm afraid I can't. She's very adorable. I'm going to make that request. All right, so Carl Weathers, excellent actor or awkward actor? Greef Karga, favorite playing sneak or fair bounty hunter boss? I'd love to hear your opinions. How does this sound? Can you hear the clock chiming in the background? And thank you again for listening, my wonderful viewers. I will see you later.